Hi everybody. Lori here from Unique in the Creek, coming to you for day 2 of Flower Week. I'm just going to pull you guys up on my phone so I can see any comments. So say hi when you come in. You know the... Hi Mom. Hi Brenda, Darlene, Jana. Hi everybody. Mississippi. Chapleau, Ontario. Where's that? I've never heard of that.
Guaranteeing it's up by Ottawa somewhere.
Yeah, because it's kind of French.
No, I know I've been through there. I just don't remember where.
Hey everybody. Tonight is going to be a fun one. I like this flower. This is the Zinnia flower. And since I changed the board and the holes and everything, this flower is so much easier to make than it used to be. On the old frame, it was quite a task to get all the bubbles, because we're going to call these petals bubbles. That's what they look like. And they make this bubble formation, and it's so cute. Like, especially for a little girl's room, this flower is really cute. Hi everybody. Oh, Jan's finishing up her rose. Oh my gosh, the roses, the pictures I was getting today. Oh my gosh, you guys did fabulous. Hi Lisa Wreaths.
Where's the cute dog?
Cute dog, which one?
Oh,
Sippy.
on the back of the couch.
That's our star of the show. Everybody saying hi, honey.
I say hi.
Okay, Texas. Hi, Patsy. How are you, honey? You're redoing your rose. That's the beauty of these frames. You can just snip it all off and redo it again if you don't like it. Right? Right. So, I got my order from Trendy Tree, and I ordered fabric mesh. And I worked with fabric mesh a little bit last year. It was just coming onto the market, so I did a really nice red rose, and the rose turned out so beautiful because this fabric mesh is, look how vivid the color is. Like, it is absolutely stunning. So I did a gorgeous red rose with the fabric mesh last year, and I was really impressed. But last year they didn't have a ton of colors to choose from. So I guess there's a lot of other people that really like this mesh as well, because this year they have all kinds of colors. So I ordered just a few just to see, you know, the colors that I would like. And I got this gorgeous fuchsia. So of course I had to use this tonight because, like, this hot pink is like one of my favorite colors. So I'm using this mesh. Now I really love the feel of the mesh. It bends really nicely, so you could see how it would make a rose really nice. The only thing with this mesh is it does fray a lot, which is okay when you're making the flowers, because most of our flowers are, you don't see the edge anyways. So the only one I wouldn't probably make this with is probably the sunflower, because you do see the edges of the sunflower. It is plastic. Did you want to say something?
No, I'm just reading that. I think there's some people on here that keep saying they got the wrong boards, and they hope they ordered the right boards. And if you have problems, just
this is
email
the new
us.
board, okay? And if you ordered, how long have we had the new board? Since October.
I don't know.
So if you ordered since October, you've got this board.
No, I'm thinking it's newer people that might have ordered the character board instead.
Oh, no. We have two boards. We have one board is a character board. So it's similar to this, except the holes here are all solid. So what you do is you Mod Podge a center onto the board, and it makes your wreath frame and sign all in one piece. So that is what we call our character and scenery board. And this board here with all the holes is our flower board. So the holes are used in different patterns with different petals to make the flowers. Now you can use these way more than just flowers. I use I use it for making wreaths. Actually, that rabbit wreath was, I don't even know where my wreaths went. Anyways, I use it for making like big poofy wreaths or all kinds of other stuff. I have a ton of tutorials on the flower board. But the character board, like I said, is solid. So this is the flower board, and this is the board I use all the time for making any of my flowers. Okay. Now back to the fabric mesh. It is made with, what is it? Polypropylene, which is the plastic, because you can see the plastic in there. But it is also made with polyester. So it's a fabric, well, that's why it's called fabric mesh, but it is a fabric plastic combination. And I just love it. Except for the fraying. It frays really bad. But like I said, we're not even going to worry about fraying because this flower, you won't see any frays. So, do you love my shirt? I do too. I got a few of these. I got Unique in the Creek, so it's hashtag Unique in the Creek, hashtag Happy Wreathing, hashtag I made that. So we do actually have a bunch of the shirts that we're going to put on our website that say hashtag Unique in the Creek. So we do have like Unique in the Creek merch. That's what Lolly calls it, merch. Anyways, I just wanted to show you this other stuff. And I got all this fabric mesh from Trendy Tree. They just got it probably a few weeks ago, and I just grabbed some right away. But some of the colors are just fabulous. Like, look at this coral peach color. I did try and use it with the sealer, and it does seal. I'm just scared. I know I'm going to try a little bit more playing around with it. With the bag sealer. I was just scared of doing it too much because it is fabric. I didn't want to catch on fire. And so I can let you know. Like I said, the only one I would use a bag sealer for this is the sunflower. All the rest of the flowers you won't see the edges. But look at this beautiful peach coral. I think it's more of a peach. And there, look at this mint green. They are just, I just love these. I think they're water resistant. I'm not even sure. Oh, it is. It's waterproof. Decor mesh is waterproof and ideal for fresh and silk flowers. You know, the norm. So I would assume you would have to definitely spray it with UV spray because it is fabric, and you even have to spray, you know, outdoor cushions and stuff with the UV stuff so it doesn't fade. But I love the colors. Look at these two colors together. I love these colors. I got red downstairs too. But they also had this is fabric mesh as well. And normally fabric mesh, well, that I've seen, doesn't have metallic in it. But this fabric mesh that I got does. So it's still nice and pliable, but it still has some sparkle to it. So I was quite excited. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this because I only got one roll of it. So I'll have to use it wisely. But you got these ones. I just love this for summer. Like, come on, that's just simply gorgeous. Anyways, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, anybody on here that, if you have problems with your orders, just please PM us. Tanya will take care of you.
Why is there...
Just simple, easy fixes, like not getting their digitals or something.
Okay, so this is going to be a tutorial, and I'm going to edit all this talking at the beginning out when I put it on my YouTube channel. So I'm not going to be answering a ton of questions through this tutorial, but if you do have a question, ask, because Dave, I'm not going to per se read it, but Dave will let me know if there's a question that needs to be answered right away.
Not to mention that most of the people on here, a lot of people that have been with us for a long time and will answer the questions also. Yeah,
we have a lot of faithful creekers, and if you have a question, like Dave said, they will answer it for you. They jump right on, so it's a great community. So I think I'm going to get started. So this is going to be the zinnia.
Go down.
Are you going down? Going down. Okay.
It just takes me a minute to get it fixed up here.
So.
And that's as far as I can zoom in, so.
There, that's good. So with the zinnia, what we're going to be doing is these 4 inner sets of holes, and on the board is marked 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And there's like a circle circumference going between each of the sets of holes. So if you're teaching with these, you can say, okay, now we're working on section 1 or section 2. So it's much easier for teaching wise. So the center, we're going to be using section 5. So we're going to be making our center right on the board. So you don't need any styrofoam or anything like that. And then, so we are going to start on the center for this flower, and we're going to work our way outwards. Okay, so I'm going to be doing yellow in the 4 holes here, and then the rest of these are going to be hot pink. And these outside 8 holes, which is section number 1, so there's 8 of them on there going around. They're going to be, I'm going to be putting green leaves on there. Okay, so just to almost frame the flower. I was going to use the fabric mesh, and this one's too like muted, like not muted, pastel. That's what I want. These are very vibrant colors, and this is more of a pastel, so I didn't really think this green would match. So I'm just going to use a deco mesh to make my green leaves. Okay, so for this wreath, you're going to need 32 pieces of 9 by 10 mesh. Okay, you can cut it 10 by 10. No problem. I always just do everything 9 by 10. That way I know I'm going to have enough mesh with one roll. I hate opening another roll up for 2 or 3 pieces of mesh. And then I end up, you know, throwing it back in my closet, and then the ends get all ruffled or frayed. And so I like to do 9 by 10. That way, like I said, I make sure I have enough pieces. So I have already pre-cut all my mesh, and I've had weights on them so they're nice and flat. And to do this, you can use scissors, you can use a rotary cutter, you can use electric scissors, however you cut your mesh. I just, for the fabric mesh, I usually use my electric scissors, but I didn't. I just used my rotary cutter here, and I just pull it out and put some heavy here. Now my mat is 24 inches, so when I was cutting them, I did 18. Put it at the 18 and then cut it at the 9. Okay, so we have 2 pieces. Okay, so you need 32 pieces like this. So now, if you're using deco mesh, and deco mesh makes a beautiful zinnia, the only problem, and I'm going to show you what I mean because I did up a board here for you. Okay, there's different deco meshes and different quality deco mesh, and I can't really, without seeing your mesh, I can't really tell you if you should use 1 piece or 2 piece, because I need to know more of how good, what quality your mesh is. Now I had cut some of this really pretty. It's a gorgeous mesh. It's like a yellow pink or gold pink, and put it together, and it's a coral. This is one of my favorite meshes. The only thing is it's very thin, and there's no metallic in it, so it's very see-through. With the metallic, I'll just take a piece of my green, you get a lot more color saturation with the metallic and coverage than you do with the thin non-metallic mesh. So if you're using something like this, or mesh, say from Hobby Lobby or Michaels, which is not the greatest quality as well, I would suggest doubling up your pieces. So you're going to need 2 pieces for each petal, and that'll give you the better quality color coverage, because you want to make sure you can't see the board. Now with the fabric mesh, it makes it beautiful because it's just so fully saturated, and the weave is it's just a really nice makes a really nice flower. It is a bit more expensive than deco mesh, but if you're using 2 rolls of, you know, the cheaper deco mesh, you can use 1 roll of fabric. But I did do up this little tester thing. So this right here, I don't know if you can see. You can see through the board. This is just one piece of that deco mesh. And you can see it's not really giving good coverage. And if I started a flower and I could see that, you know, you could pretty much see everything through it, I would stop, take it all apart, and redo it and do two. So these ones are more, they got more color saturation and more coverage. And once you start piling all these on, they start pushing against each other that you won't see the frame. Okay, so but these ones here, you can see the difference. These are two pieces of that mesh put together, and this is one piece. So you have to kind of decipher if it's a good quality mesh. And what, like I said, if you start your flower and you're like, ooh, this is really thin and I can see the board and everything, I would stop and double up your mesh, okay? Because you don't want to see the board. And it just, you know, you put all that work into it, and then when you're finished, you're really not going to like it because you can see your frame. And that would be even for a wire frame too. So you'd have to double up this mesh. So, but good quality mesh, like this is just plain the normal standard deco mesh with the normal standard metallic stripe. It's from China. Korea, and oh, I can't remember what else. But they make a really good mesh. Taiwan is where they make pretty much, they make pretty thin mesh. So those are usually, like this is Taiwan. They usually you have to double up, okay? So I'm just going to bend this, and you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but you do get nice coverage with that compared to this one. Okay, it's really hard to decipher different meshes. You just have to play around and you get to know what mesh you like. Mesh that comes, and you can't even say, like, I've ordered mesh from, like, say, Craft Outlet, and I've even gotten Taiwan mesh from them. So you can't even ask. You just it's kind of hit and miss. So, although the fabric mesh, I love it. Now, poly burlap, somebody asked if we could use poly burlap with this flower. You can. I'm not a huge poly burlap fan. I find it very thick and bulky. I do like it for sunflowers, but for any of the other flowers, it's not really flexible like a deco mesh is, because it is thick. And it's almost too thick for any of the flowers, except for the sunflower. So again, it's preference. I know there's a ton of poly burlap lovers out there, and God bless you, because the fraying drives me absolutely insane. Yeah, so I will be doing poly burlap with the sunflower on Friday, because I just want to show you guys different meshes and how to work with them. And how there is a difference between the meshes, okay? So I just got that to the side. Another thing you can use for a center is the Deco Flex tubing. So I'll probably do a couple flowers through the week with this Deco tubing. This one's more of a burlap, so there's not really a sparkle into it. But a lot of them have like a metallic sheen to them. I like the burlap ones. They just look more natural. So I'm going to be using this, I think on, which flower? I can't remember. I think the no-cut flower. I'm going to be using this stuff. But for tonight, I'm using this yellow and beautiful pink fabric mesh. So what you're going to do, this is the back, for those that are just joining us. The back of the frame has our logo, our website, made in Canada, and you can't see the circles that are going around to indicate which circumference it is. So the front is for that, so your customers won't see any of these lines or anything, which is great because it's more of a tool for the actual wreath maker. The customer just needs to see the back. And I would suggest if you're making your wreaths that you put some kind of sticker or tape on your business card to the back of the wreath, especially if you're selling at craft shows. So somebody that buys your wreath, if their friend wants to buy one, they know where to come and get you and find you. They just flip it over, see your sticker and with your Etsy store or whatever, and there you go. It's much better than them looking at their friend and saying, "Oh, I got it from a lady at a craft show. I have no idea who she is." That's mostly what happens. So just an FYI and good practice, business practice to do that. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I use zip ties all the time. You can use pipe cleaners. I designed these frames for the use of zip ties because I have a problem, almost like a carpal tunnel, and I don't have very good strength in my hands anymore. So the actual motion of twisting pipe cleaners or Chanel stems or whatever really cause havoc on my hands. So I found using zip ties much easier, and it's neater. So when we finish up the back, all you see is little strips of zip tie going through, and so there's no covering up and no scratching the door, and the pipe cleaners rust because they're metal. So I liked to use zip ties, but you can use pipe cleaners if that's what you like. So on the frame, you're going to see these on section number 1. There's 2 holes that are kind of divoted in or chamfered in. Those are your hanging holes. Now you can put string through here or twine or whatever. I've been using cable ties or zip ties for my hanging because I just found that the string kind of gives way, and I want to keep in practice making everything pretty much plastic because summer's coming or spring's coming and people are going to want to put their flowers and stuff on fences and gardens and everything. And if you use a zip tie, it'll last longer than a piece of twine will. Okay, so, but you can use whatever you have handy. So if you're making one of these, you'll have a zip tie handy. So I just go through the back, down the other hole, and do your zip tie up. Now to do the zip tie, you're going to put the tail end of the zip tie through the flat part of the head, and you will hear a zipping sound like that. And that means this will not come undone when you hear that zipping sound. Should you try and put it in the wrong way, or you're not paying attention and you don't hear the zipping sound, it will not lock. You're going to have to regroup and do it again because you have it in backwards. Okay? So I'm just going to snip this tail off. I always have a little bucket here for my tails. And now we don't have to search through all the mesh to find our hanging. It's got a thing all ready to go to hang on. Okay, so let's get this party started. We are going to start from the center.
Before you start,
yes.
A question was asked if 12 inch, Michael's only sells 12 inch. Would you cut that to 12 inch, 9 inch petals?
Somebody asked me that today. It's probably the same girl that's on here, the same lady. I've never personally used 12 inch. I would never pay that amount that Michael sells it for one thing. And I think it was for the rose she wanted. Is that correct?
I don't know. She just asked about.
Okay. If it's for the rose, hun, I would go 10 inches. Just because if you do 9 by 12, you're really going to get a cockeyed umbrella shape, okay? Like I said, I've never used the 12 inch before. Same with these flowers. I think the 12 inch will be too much. You'd have a lot of stem at the bottom. The only thing I can suggest is cut a couple pieces, try it, and like cut a piece of 9 inch, cut it in one piece 9 inch, one piece 10 inch, play with it, see how it looks and how it's manipulating or if it's giving the coverage you want. That's all I can suggest to you because, like I said, I've never used it before. So if you do play with it and figure it out, let me know. So if anybody else ever asks that, because nobody's really asked me before, so I can be able to tell them. That would be fabulous. So thank you. Any other questions before I get going?
No, that's all I have.
That's it? Okay, let's get this started. So we're going to start on row 5. I'm going to put my zip, we're going to load my load our zip ties into the 4 holes here. Okay. Now, if you, for this particular flower, you can preload all your zip ties on. So, meaning you sit back with the movie on or your shows, and you feed these through all your holes. So you're not sitting at the table wasting time. I do all this while I'm watching TV, so I pretty much do everything in my recliner on my couch. The only time I ever sit at a table is to teach Facebook Lives, because it really does a little bit of a number on my back. Okay, so we have preloaded the board. Now these zip ties I'm using are 9 inches. I think I have 2 different sizes here. I got 9 inches and I got some 6.5 inches. Now it really doesn't matter the length of them, except for if you get 4 inches. 4 inches is really, really hard to work with, so try and stay away from the 4 inches. But as long as they're 18 pound, so they're really thin and they have a really small head. You don't want these big, clumpy 50-pound zip ties, because you're going to see the head of the zip tie in it. And they're more expensive, so you really are doing overkill if you buy the big, huge ones. So try and find the 18-pound ones. We sell them on our website. Amazon has them. Some of the hardware stores have them. Just do a Google search if you're looking for them, and just make sure, like I said, that they're 18 pound, okay? Because we don't need big, huge, heavy strength ones. All right, so I've cut 4 pieces of mesh, fabric mesh, into 9 by 10. Now for this one, I'm only using 4 pieces, so if you want to use 10 by 10, it's not going to make a huge difference, but if it'll make you feel better, then just use the 10 by 10. But you're not going to even be able to tell when I do the center of this. Really, Lauren? So what you're going to do for the center, so I got my, did I do it 9 by 9 or 10 by, I did this one 10 by 10. There we go. So because I knew I'm going to have lots, I'll probably use this yellow for a lot of the centers, and I probably can do about 10 centers with this whole roll. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut your 10 by 10 piece, okay, and we are going to turn it so you have your cut edges and your serged edges, which are like the finished edges. You're going to put your cut edge that you cut up at the top, so we have our square, and we're going to bring the top down and meet it up with the bottom here. So we have a rectangle shape, and then we are going to scrunch along the bottom, just about 1/2 inch up. So you can just start, if you want, you can start in the middle and work your way to one end, and then scrunch from the other. And you're going to make kind of like this, almost like a shell formation. Okay, you guys see that? I'll do that again. Look, just from touching it, look how much it frays. So it's beautiful stuff. It just be careful what you're gonna use, what project you're gonna use it on. Okay, you can do it, like I said, start it from the center and scrunch going both ways, or you can just start from the end and then push your way to the middle. It makes the same thing. All right. So this is what we got, and we're going to take our board, and we are going to put this formation into the zip tie, and we're going to put the tail, this tail of massive fray, right into the zip tie. So it's going towards the center. Is it that right? I think so. Okay, I'm going to take another one and do the exact same thing. So I got my serged edges, taking my cut edge, folding it down, lining it up as best as I can, and then I'm going to turn it sideways and scrunch it up to make our shell formation again. And I'm going to stick that tail in, do it nice and tight. Now I usually have my needle nose pliers because, like I said, my hands are not the strongest anymore. So I have this little set of needle nose pliers, and I use those usually to pull my zip ties. So I'm just kind of turning this around. So we're just the center is going to be just like a bunch of, I don't know, it looks like shells when you start it. I don't know what you would call it. For some reason, I think it's supposed to, hold on a second. It's supposed to be going towards the outside. Gosh, now I can't remember. No, I think it's supposed to go toward inside. Yes. No, the outside. All right, let me see. Oh, I need one more piece here. Gosh, I was playing around with it today, and because I had to go in. The last time I did one of these was like the middle of the summer. So I was playing around, and now I forget. I'm just going to try 2 inwards and 2 outwards and see. Yeah, I think it's supposed to go outwards. Sorry, guys. So I'm going to flip this over. Although you can't really even tell. You can't even tell which one I did inwards and which one I did outwards. So, you know what? I'm just going to leave it. So, there's our center. That's all you need. So I did 2 inwards, 2 outwards, but it all looks the same. Just makes this nice little wavy effect for the center. And I just love this fabric mesh because look how it pretty much does whatever you want it to do, and it makes such a nice, I don't know, it just makes a nice everything. Kind of my favorite, and I'm in love with it. All right, so next we're going to load up. I'm just going to put a few clothespins on here. Now, if you have an elastic or something, you could put that around the top. I just want to get the middle out of the way here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm just pinning these up. So we're going to load this next number 4, and we're going to do it the exact same way we did here. We're going to go down the hole and up, and put your zip tie. Sorry, I'm doing this upside down here. Down the hole, up. So there's 8 of these. This is why I usually preload. So I do all the zip ties first, and then I just cut all my mesh and then make the petals and just stick it all in, and you can whip through this one of these pretty fast. This is like one of my favorite flowers, because especially if you use nice bright colors, the petals are like almost bubble formations, and it just makes a really cute whimsical flower, and it's like I said, it's one of my favorites. And I'm not sure if it looks like a zinnia. I googled a few pictures when I was playing with the different petals and stuff, and when I googled the pictures, the zinnia kept almost looking like my petal, so that's why I called it a zinnia. I don't know. I think they all look the same, pretty much, except for the daffodil. Okay, so we are ready for that one. Okay, so now we are on to the petal. This is 9 by 10. Okay, and even the fabric mesh has a natural curl to it. So we are going to work with the curl going upwards. So this would be downwards. So usually when I'm doing the sunflower, I will have the curl going down. For this one, I have it going up. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your corner. Now I'm going to move this because this is going to be kind of tricky to see on camera. You're going to take your corner and you're going to take this corner and bring it down. But you're going to have your finger scissoring down at the corner here because we're not going to close it like this. I want to have a gap here because you're going to take this corner, bring it down, and hold it between your fingers and your thumb. You're going to take this corner and you're going to bring it down as well, and you're going to wrap it. So you're going to take the corner down, bring it to meet these corners, and you're going to wrap it around the edge so it looks like that. And then you're going to take this one and do the same thing on this side. So you're going to bring it down, meet that corner, and take the edges and wrap it around. So you're getting this bubble kind of formation, okay? So this is what it looks like from the front. From the sides, you'll see it kind of has two pouches or divots or whatever you want to call them. And it's almost bubble-like, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to take, and I'm going inwards, right? Yes. How can I forget? I did a bunch of these today. Okay, and you're just zipping it. Now, when I zip this in, I know I was explaining the divots or the pouches, you want them at the side, okay? And then you're going to have your bubble formation. So the divots are at the side. So when you stick your tail in, make sure the, I don't know what you would call it. What would you call it? Pooches, pouches, something like that. You want those at the side, okay? We're going to zip it and cut it. Now I'm going to cut a little bit of this tail off, and you won't see these zip ties here because once I let loose of the yellow's going to open it up and it's going to cover all these zip ties, okay? I hope. At least it was this morning. Okay, so we're going to do another one. So you're going to take your square, you're going to turn it into a diamond, put your scissors right at the bottom, or not your scissors, but your finger scissors. Spare fingers, right, La? Take the corner, match it up, put your fingers in between. You're going to take this corner, bring it down to match these corners, okay? Wrapping. So you can see I've wrapped the sides around it. I'm going to take this corner, do the same, bring it down, wrap it around, and there we got that bubble formation again. And we have the kind of the pouches here at the sides. And we want these pouches because once we start putting these in, they kind of, the petal next to it kind of nestles in to the neighboring petal. Because once you start piling these on, as you've probably seen with the rose last night, they all push together and start forming the flower, okay? So you're going to stick your tail in, making sure your divots are still at the side. You don't want it that you can see the pouch. I need to find a term for that, but let's take a poll, honey. Pouch or divot? Indentation. So you kind of want to put around, put the tail in so that they both.
Can you do one upside down so they can see what you're doing?
Upside down. I will. The next one. Okay. So you'll see once we start adding the next row in, it's going to push these up. Okay, and everything will start pushing up. This is why I start from the inside going out. Now if we started from the outside and worked our way in, we'd end up smushing all our bubble formations. So this is why I do it from the center out for this one. Okay, let's do it again. Okay. Corner, corner, finger in between, down, wrap it around, corner, bring it down to match the other corners, and wrap it around. And it's hugging the tail, and then we got these pouches here. Pouches are going to be on the side. Now, I don't know what they mean by upside down or backwards, or so I'm slipping my tail into the zip tie here. Just like that. I could probably have my zip ties down a little further. Making sure that these are still at the side. We don't want to see these at the front. And zip it in. Now, it's a lot easier than it is with the older board, because the older one we had to, I'm going to cut these tails a little bit. The old ones we had to zip tie the bottoms and everything else, and then the holes were a little bit different, so we would have to slide the petal down. It was just, it made a beautiful flower, but it was quite difficult. Now with the board the way it is now, it's more of the, one of the easier flowers that we do. Okay. These ones I had a couple of them pre-made. So I'm just going to slide this in. I love this mesh. Isn't this like the prettiest mesh? It's not sparkly. I usually like really, I don't want to use my good scissors. I usually like to use sparkly, but the color can't be beat on this, with this stuff. I especially can't wait to use the peach. Oh my gosh, the peach and the mint. Is there any questions, honey, so far? When I let the yellow go, you'll see how it falls over top. And like I said, once we start adding more of these are going to be pushed up. So it all will form. It'll all come together. That's the thing with these flowers. At first, you know, I got a lot of messages today saying, oh, I'm done my first row on the rose and it looks terrible. Well, if you guys go and re-watch when I was doing the rose last night, my first row, it was horrible. You can't give up. You got to keep going, because once you start building the flower, it starts to come together. The only time I would pretty much restart is if your mesh is too thin. And you will be able to tell when you're making your flower if your mesh is too thin.
Does the fabric mesh fade in the sun?
I would say yes, only because it is fabric. Now, it is so new that I'm really not sure. I would spray this anyways. Now, I did, saying that, I did do a zinnia last year. It was peach, and I did the center orange, and that's the picture that everybody sees. And come to think of it, the deco mesh, the peach deco mesh that I used, it faded. But you know what? I don't think the center of that flower faded. And I didn't spray it with anything.
Well, they want you to actually do a petal upside down so they can see the bottom when you're doing it.
See the bottom? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I will try. Let me get this one in. It might take you a couple tries, you know, playing around with the mesh and everything. But once you get the hang of this petal, it's really quite easy. And you can see how this is going into that pouch. This one's going into this pouch. And it's going to this pouch. So you can see how the flower is starting to form really pretty already. Okay, so I will try and do this upside down. Okay. So we're taking this and this. I think this is what they mean, right? So you can see my finger in between the two corners there. You're going to take this one and bring it up and see how it's matching that corner. And then I'm going to wrap, kind of hard to do upside down, but I'm going to wrap this. See how I'm pinching the side here? So the corner is there. Pinch the side. Bring this one up, meet those corners, and pinch the side. So it's kind of wrapping around and hugging. and it'll give you, if you see these dented and it's like a bubble formation, you've done it correct. Okay? I'll keep doing a couple of them really slow. I'll do another one upside down again. And then you're just going to make sure your pouch is on the sides and stick the tail in. Zip it up. You only have to do like 3 or 4 of these petals and you'll get the hang of it, trust me. Okay, let's do another one. Can you see why already I think it would be like fabulous for a little girl's room? Like, it's such a whimsical looking flower. Okay, corner, bring that one to this corner, bring it up. So you could probably, let's see if we pinch it. No, I like my way. Corner to corner, bring this up, wrap the side around it, bring this one up, wrap the side around it, and voila. That's our front or back and our sides. And just stick it straight into the zip tie. And I'm going in about, I'm leaving about a ½ an inch of the tail on in there, but I am cutting some of it off just so, because it's butting up against the yellow. Not that it'll make a big difference, but there we go. So we have the first section. I'm going to take these off now. I am using every hole. So look how pretty this is already. Can you see that on the camera, hon? Yeah. Now, using the clothespin kind of squished my puffs here, but they're easy to open. Okay, so I'm going to try and push these up. I wonder, see, the only reason I don't start from the outside, because I find I push my hands down all the time when I'm working on the wreaths. I don't know about you guys. You might want to try and see. You might be able to do from the outside in, but for me, I just found that I was always squishing. I always squish because I rest my hand. So we're going to go, that's why preloading your board is much easier than trying to now go and try and find the other holes again. So now we are on section number 3, and we're going to do another 8. I am actually going to preload all of them. So this is the flower. The whole flower is done just like this, with these bubble type petals. And you slip the tail in towards the center. And that's why I think my tails for the yellow were supposed to go outwards, and then the pink ones go inwards. So, but you can't even tell. It all works out. There's just so much you can do with these boards. Did anybody see the watermelon that Isabel Rivera from Sparkles in Atlanta made? Like, oh my God, when she told me what she was doing, I'm like, go for it. She is so creative. She made the most awesome watermelon wreath. And I believe she cut the board in half, so you can get 2, I think. Now, don't quote me. She's like a mad scientist playing with these boards. She comes up with, well, we always, you know, kind of do creating sessions kind of together. So she'll give me an idea, I'll tell her my idea. So my idea is I'm going to do a watermelon on a tree frame. So it'll be a triangle slice of watermelon. And I might even put a sign in the middle or something. So, but just the creativity of thinking of cutting the board in half and putting, it made a perfect half watermelon. Like, I wouldn't even thought of that. So, such creativity out there. I'm just floored half, you know, a lot of the times it's just like, wow, why didn't I think of that? These are just a couple of them. Oh my gosh, look at all my friends. I have lots of friends watching. We have 285 people. Hi, everybody. Anita Hopper and Banja. They're back from their road trip. Okay, I'm going around and doing the next section. You just want to make sure your tail, okay, you see how my tail is kind of up against the front of these flowers? We don't want that. We want to put the tail. Now, you don't want to cut all your tail off because it will give coverage on the board, so it helps cover the board so you won't see the board. But we don't want it in the way of how our flower is going to be pushed up. So I just kind of go in between. So I know a lot of people were messaging and asking about supply lists and everything. On our Facebook page, in the events section, I have scheduled the event for each flower for this week, and the supply list are in the description. I still have to do, because tomorrow's the daisy. Is tomorrow the daisy? I did the daisy and the daffodil supply list today because I had to go and to be honest with you, I had to go and rewatch them just to make sure, because we did change the boards since I've done those tutorials, and you don't use as much supplies. So I re-edited the supply list. And then once we start putting this all together, they start to fit in almost like a puzzle with each other. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. Are you guys loving this already? So I'm saying the 12-inch mesh covers the board better, but I don't know how long to cut it. Oh, it wasn't you that. Marilyn, I don't know. Like I said, you're going to have to just do trial and error, hun. I don't know if anybody else on here has used the 12-inch Michael's mesh. If you have, what, honey?
That was a long time ago.
What?
She has said that.
Oh, well, it's up on my last comment here. Oh, and I answered that already, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It must be done using polyburlap mesh.
It can. I don't know. I wouldn't use it for a rose. I don't know. It's very bulky. You would have to, when you do this outside section, I don't know, because the polyburlap is so thick, you may have to skip every other hole because you'll get it too crammed looking. So I have not personally, like I said, I really do not like polyburlap. I'm sorry. So I've never tried it with the rose, but I just doing so many of them, I could see it being really too bulky, and it's not the most flexible like deco mesh and this stuff. So I don't know if I'd spend the money on the polyburlap to make a rose, because there are so much other better choices for the rose and less expensive choices. So I would save your polyburlap for like the sunflower or yeah, I don't know, I'm just not a polyburlap lover. It just frays. This stuff frays, but that stuff really frays. I gotta lost my zip ties. So you can see why, as we're adding these, now if I had all these petals in already, I'd probably have them all smushed. So at least when you start from the middle out, I know it's hard for you guys to see, but at least I'm not touching these anymore, and they'll stay poofy. I need to start my own dictionary with all my Lori-isms. And rotary will be the very first one. Oh, this is a cockeyed looking one. So we just want to make sure that the sides, the divots, are always on the side. the puckers or whatever. Do we decide what we're calling them yet?
Dimples.
Dimples. Oh, that's a good one.
What's that mesh again?
This is fabric mesh.
Fabric mesh.
And they have all kinds of colors at Trendy Tree. So snatch yourself up some. It's not as cheap as Deco Mesh, but it's not as expensive as poly burlap. Well, actually, I think it's probably comparable. I'm just cutting this tail off because it kind of is a curly looking thing. Alright, so I'm just sticking the tails in. So as you can see, once you've done a few of these petals, you could probably do it with your eyes closed. And I'm just kind of tucking the tail so it's not hitting against the front ones in between them. Let's see. And I can kind of flick these up, and if it's loose, that means I'm missing a petal, which I think I got them all. Just double check them all. And this is your back, so that's all. There's nothing to cover up. So it's nice and neat. Okay, we're good. All right. Oh, look how cute. I love this flower. And then once you're done, you can kind of move them in so each dimple is covered by the other dimple. So now we're going to load the last row in. Now, like I said, the 8 outer holes I use for the leaves. You can put some more of these bubbles in if you want. It'll just make it a bigger flower. But I find after you do these 16, it's pretty full. And it definitely looks like you used way more than one roll of mesh, don't you think? Like, just because it's so poofy and full. And it does fit between 2 doors. So I'm just loading the section 2. There's 16 sets of holes. So I'm just loading them up with the zip tie. I'm not getting any of the comments.
No?
No. Let me try and go out and in again. Ah, there we go. I know, isn't this pretty? I love this flower. And I love the brightness. So, if you're going to use if you're going to buy some fabric mesh, or if you're going to do this flower, try the fabric mesh. I seriously. It's just beautiful stuff. And as you can see, you don't see the sides, which that's what I love. Yep, my Christmas clock. We just couldn't bring ourselves to put it away. We love it. It's just so soothing. But then when it goes off, it's like, oh, is it like 6 o'clock? And then we look down, it's like 9 o'clock. It's like, oh my gosh, that's like how our days go these days. Like, you know, it seems like we just got up and we're going to bed. It's non-stop.
You never tried that on a small board, have you?
I have not tried this on a small board, no. It would be pretty much the same thing. The only thing is the small board, the holes are closer together between the distance of the different rows. So it'll be a little more squished, and you probably can get away with doing every other hole maybe on the outside of the small board. I don't know. I haven't tried it, but if you try it, let me know. The small board is like, if I'm going to do a flower, I'm going to do a flower. So the small board is not my favorite, but we do know we have the customers that, you know, have retirement homes and, you know, trailers and stuff like that. So you guys wanted it, so we brought it. But if I'm going to do flowers, I'm going to use the big board. And it gives you a little more working space. All right, we're almost done loading these. Is there, how many people are, yeah, the clock, we have it kind of hiding on top of our wall unit. So you can't really see it, but you just hear it every hour. Is there any, anybody actually making one of these flowers right now with me? I know I had a whole bunch of questions today about what I was using for the supplies. All right. Okay. Let's load her up again. Pardon me?
Did you use the small boards to make a nice wallflower arrangement?
Did I?
Could you?
Oh, probably. Whatever you can do on the large board, you can do on the small board. It's just going to be smaller.
When it's finished, what is the size?
This one, it won't be too much bigger than, it'll probably be about 18 inches when it's done. Because it doesn't come out, well, by the time we put the leaves on and everything, but the actual flower dimension would be about 18 inches. It doesn't come too much farther than the board, because it is more like a bubble rather than flat petals going out like a sunflower.
A lot of people are making them with me.
Oh, is there a lot of people?
Yeah.
How are they doing? Anybody getting stuck, or you find once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy? What's everybody's...
When do you do tutorials? She's right now.
Pardon?
I said, when do you do tutorials? I said, you're doing it now.
Yes, this is the tutorial on the Zinnia. Now, I am going to leave the old tutorials up too, just in case some people still have the old boards. The old boards are wood, so if you have a wood board with the holes going this way, no, if you have a wood board and your holes are going this way, you have a really old board. We've kind of did the improved version. I did change the holes up, and I'm so glad I did before we got the mold made. So I had to make that decision before we paid all that money for the mold, and I am so glad I did, because it just takes so much less supplies and so much less zip ties and time, and I don't even know what I was thinking before. The only problem was when I changed it, our patent attorney kind of grunted because we had to redo illustrations, and it's like, oh well, but I had to get it done. I had to do it. Now the 16 are really going to get smushed in together, and they will almost start linking themselves in this dimple. So just make sure they're all on this going to the side. And not everyone is perfect. There is not a flower on this planet that's absolutely perfect, but it's pretty close. Oh, Jan's got to get new mesh. I cannot believe how many boards were sold on Amazon in the last 2 days. My God. We have to get Amazon all stocked up really fast again. Thank you very much. And after you guys see all the flowers and what you can do, and like I said, you can use these boards for more than just flowers. But when I first designed them, that's what they were for. It's just so much easier than Chanel stems and plastic canvas, and you can make, this one would really be hard to make on a wire frame. I wouldn't even try it, but actually I should probably dare somebody to try it, see how long it takes them, how much mesh they use. But same with the daffodil. I kind of screwed this one up. I don't know if I pressed down on it or what I did to it. But we'll link it. Are you guys loving this flower? Isn't this like the cutest? I love it. Oh yeah, they still make great flowers too. You're absolutely right, Patsy. Obviously, I made all the flowers with the older board when I was designing these, so they do work. It's just these are improved and faster. That's all. And less surprise. Now they will not change again. Just too expensive to change them again. But they're pretty much perfected. Well, to my liking. Yeah, the daffodil is very pretty and different. So we are doing, I can't remember if the daffodil is tomorrow or if it's Thursday. I gotta make sure I have, because daffodils are usually yellow or white or some kind of in between of those. So, and you're going to use, I'm going to use felt for the center of my daffodil, I think. Or I could use this to make the pistons. You know, they have the pistons that come out the center of the daffodil. I probably will show you how to do it in felt, and I'll do one in the tubing as well. So again, I'm still doing exactly the same as when I started the flower. There's no, just make sure your tail goes in between. And it all fits in like a puzzle. Can you see it all starting to come together? No glue either. Just pretty much stick it in and go. And that's my hanging one. That's the only thing with the zip tie that it gets kind of in the way. Oh, is it the daisy tomorrow? Okay. Daisy tomorrow, and well, we use the felt for daisy too. So the daffodil must be Thursday, the sunflower is Friday, I think the no-cut flower is Saturday, and then Sunday I'm going to teach you guys a new one. It's similar to this one, but it's different obviously, but and it's pretty big. It makes a pretty big flower. Yeah, we're going to be doing the tree first in plastic. The molds are quite pricey. So we're going to try and get the tree in plastic first because we sell a lot of trees. Because the trees will, you know, you can use them for the carrot. Like, it's not just for the Christmas tree. Use it for the carrot. I make an ice cream cone out of it for the summer. I'm going to be making a watermelon, a bird. What else? I got a whole list of stuff I'm going to do, but it's very versatile. So that is coming next in plastic. Hopefully by the beginning of March. We'll see. Because the mold, all our boards are made in Canada at a plastic factory here in Hamilton, Ontario. But the actual mold is made in China. So, and it gets flown here.
No, yes.
Pardon?
The gnome also.
Oh, the gnome, yeah. Oh, the gnome, of course. How did I forget that? That's my favorite. My Easter Bunny gnome. I can't wait to get my red fun fur. Well, it's actually not red. It's a rust color for my leprechaun. I'm going to do a leprechaun gnome.
Bird? Yeah, bird.
Yep.
Yes, it's a more neat too.
Okay, I got 4 more left. So I didn't even actually, I probably won't even be using a whole roll. Maybe I will do maybe if I have enough, I'll do an outside 8. I just want to see how big it does get if you do the outside 8 of them. What? Oh yes, the candy corn. There's all kinds of stuff. I have this big list of different ideas to do. And I'm doing a different, no, I think Isabel's done 2 different style carrots. I seen somebody did a carrot with tulips. Oh my god, so cute. So it's pretty much on the same, pretty much the same way as we're doing these welcome tulips, except the tulips are going downwards down the tree like a carrot. Really cute. I'm going to be doing just a, well, I think Isabel did, what'd she do? She did a ruffle carrot and some kind of petal fold carrot. I'm just going to do a, oh, I really screwed up that one. What did I do here? I'm going to do a simple carrot. I'm using the fake asparagus fern. It's called asparagus fern greenery. It actually looks like a real carrot top. Got some on sale at Hobby Lobby. We're almost done, and then we're going to start fitting these in and puffing up the bubbles a little more because I'm kind of squished them. We got one more left, and we got lots of mesh left. So I might be able to do, I'm going to see if I can do 8 outside. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to try and see how big it gets if I do the 8 outside. Now this was a full roll of 10 yard because I got 40 pieces then. The 21 inch when we were doing the rows. How do I keep screwing this up? All right, that's our last petal. You just kind of want to fit these guys into each other, puff them up. So with the fabric mesh, it's just so nice and flexible that you can just open the whole bubble thing up. And I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to put 8 on the outside just to see what formation it gives. So anywhere you see a hole, you're going to want to fluff it up. Oh, let's see something here. So I'm just kind of fitting each side, because it's kind of going screwy, each dimple, side, whatever you want to call them, into the next door neighbor. It gives it better coverage. All right, let's try, look how pretty this is. Can you guys see that? Love it. So I'm going to try the outside. Let's see how big it gets. Now for the outside one, if you're going to do the outside holes, you are going to have to put a zip tie around the bottom because we're going to be using the hole and the outside of the board, so we don't have another hole to go into. So you're going to make your petal and you're going to put a zip tie around the bottom and tighten it, not too tight because we're going to have to slide another zip tie in behind here. So we are still going to go in with the tail going towards the center. Now I'll flip this over. I'm probably going to squish my flower, but that's okay. So I'm going to go with my zip tie through. Make sure your zip tie is, when you go in with your zip tie, if you make sure the flat part of your zip tie is always going facing the ceiling, you'll go in the right way. Okay, so I'm going to take this petal and I'm going to kind of push it forward because, I'll show you right here, because I'm going to slide this zip tie through the back. So I'm just threading it through the back. You can see that. Okay, then I'm going to tighten this one up, and then you can snip off the tail. All right, and this is what we have, and then we're going to go, I'll show you upside down. This head should fit through here, I think. Yeah, there we go. Now, when I've made them before, I haven't done the outside 8, so I'm just trying something just to see how it, what shape it gives it. And I'm still going to use this hole. I'm going to use a shared hole and put some green leaves around it. Let's see. Actually, I don't know. It might be okay. I'm going to try another one. I don't even know. Put them in the recycling though, in the plastic recycling. So we're going to put a zip tie around the bottom. Now this is what we had to do before when the holes were going a different way. We had to do every petal like this. So you can see why switching the holes made it just a little bit better. Okay, and then I'm going to slide this one in through the back again, like I did the other one. Zip it up tight. Snip off the tail. Now I'm going with the tail inwards, and I'm just going to put the head through the hole here. Can you guys see that? And then zip it up. It looks like it's sticking out a little bit too far. I'm going to redo that one. I'm going to put the zip tie a little bit closer because it kind of looked like it was just hanging out the side. Try that again. See, it's nice if you make a mistake. It's really easy to fix your mistake. What?
Ship all the zip tie ends to you, and we can make new boards of the zip tie.
Oh, yeah. It's the same stuff. Recycled plastic. At least my nose isn't running like it was last night. I don't know what was up with that. I thought I was getting sick. Alright, let's see if I like this one better. So I'm just putting the head through to make sure. That last one, it was kind of there. That I can tell it's better. It was looking like it was just like kind of hanging out there. I think this one needs to be a little more tighter as well. So this is making your flower a little bit bigger. But wow. You could probably see this from space. And if you cut your mesh, like I said, at 9 inches, and you do have a correct 10-yard roll, you will get 40 pieces, and you can do the outside 8. Yes, the ribbons and all that stuff, yes, they definitely do add up. And the nice thing with the flowers is, though, if you use the correct material, they can go out, like in the inclement weather. So they could be hung right on garden gate or whatever, right? And rain, snow, everything else, because it is all polypropylene and waterproof. So the zip ties are polypropylene, the board's polypropylene, and the mesh is polypropylene. The only thing you have to do is make sure you spray it, the mesh, because the UV will fade it. So what I've just discovered is once you get your petal on there, you can actually slide it down the zip tie. Because I just found it was kind of hanging there, but if you slide it down the zip tie right, so it hits the front there, it's perfect. Genius! This is huge. Do you love it, hun?
Yeah.
Does it look pretty on the camera?
Can you do a close-up on how you place the mesh in the zip tie sideways, showing the fold or not?
Okay. So I'm making the same fold. Okay. Going down, wrapping it around. So there we go. Got our dimples. And then what I'm doing is just taking the zip tie and wrapping it around the tail. And you kind of want to, because I'm doing the outer, I don't want it hanging like it was, so I'm kind of about 2 inches of a tail for this one. Then I'm tightening it. Now I need water, I'm talking too much. And then you're going to take your other zip tie and you're going to thread it through the back. Okay? Pull that one tight. Snip that tail off. And it's going so I'm going from this hole around the outside of the hole. Cut that off. And then I found you can slide this down the zip tie.
Only seeing the top, not the zip tie part.
Only seeing top, not, yeah, I have to take a drink. Okay, I'm not quite sure what she's meaning, but I will try. I'll try to do it a different angle. So maybe upside down. So there's the sides. I'm not quite sure what they're asking because all I am doing is wrapping a zip tie around the bottom. Is that what? So it's just literally just, I'm not sure what you're asking, but I'm just tying or doing a zip tie around the bottom of the petal that we've been doing all along. Okay, and this is what it looks like. Okay. If I'm still not showing you what you're wanting, let me know. Again, feeding this one through, tighten that, cut it off, and I'm going to, where are we at now? This one. Okay, I think I got it for her now. Put my head through. And you want to make sure the tail is going inwards. Obviously, you don't want the tail spitting out that you see. It's fray and everything else. Yeah. Cut this off. And I'm just going to slide it down the zip tie here. There we go. Okay. So I got 1, 2, 3 more left to go. And then I'll put some green on and stick a fork in it, it is done. So as you can see, you can probably whip these out within probably a half an hour if you have your supplies already. You got your board preloaded. Night, Lolly. You got your lines memorized? Good girl.
Kind of.
Kind of. Ooh. Not sure what I did here there. My zip tie is way too short. See, I only have a little tiny bit of tail. I can tell you right now that it's not going to be enough. I really hate when, I really hate when you get to the center of like, almost to the start of the roll of mesh, because it's so curly. It doesn't cooperate properly. What am I, sorry, what was that? Wire cutters. Yeah, they're just wire cutters. You can get wire cutters at the dollar store. I also have like little jewelry snips. A lot of people ask me about them. I don't know, I think they're downstairs in the dungeon. But they're really good. They're in the jewelry section. They're actually made for cutting wire and jewelry and stuff, but they really work well because they look like a claw when you close it. They work really well. I get lots of questions about those. And if you're wanting to know what I'm talking about, they my Lori's tool thing that Tanya did on my webpage has them on there. Oh my God, I love this color. And there goes my yellow. 2 more. I would have been done a long time ago, but I kind of like, it gives it a kind of a different shape too. When we're finished, you'll see. So you'll have all kinds of people, you know, touching your wreath and trying to figure out how you made it. Never tell them how easy it is though. You know, oh yeah, it took me, you know, a whole day to make that. Meanwhile, you whipped it out in half an hour. But you don't tell the customer that. God, I hope I have enough white for my daisy. I'm going to do a daisy. Now, with tomorrow's tutorial, you can use any color you want, because if you use white with yellow, you make a daisy. And if you use any other color, you can make it almost looks like a gerbera or gerbera. I don't know. I'm not up on my flowers and how you say it, but I think it's called gerbera. It's a pretty flower too. So we are going to be using felt though for the center. You can use fabric mesh for the center of that as well. You can use tubing, any of the flowers. You can mix and match petals and come up with your own unique flower. So you know, do a row of this and a row of, you know, the daisy petal, and who knows what you can come up with. You just never know until you try. I love playing. I sit and play with mesh all the time, trying to come up with different ideas. This one, I have no idea how I came up with this one. I was just farting around. I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. It's like a bubble. And then once I made the bubble, it's like, okay, how do I put it on my board? And once I got it on the board, okay, now what should I do to make it look like a flower? Yes, my creative genius. You got your character boards. Very good, very good. Yes, character boards are flying off the shelves because of the tulips. Yes, can you believe we used to use styrofoam for the tulip wreaths? All right. Wow. Just, holy moly. You guys see how big this thing is? And yet we use one full roll of 10-inch mesh. That's it. Love it. Love it. Okay, let's put some green on. Give it a frame. And I'll call it done. I will sit. I've been watching this show on Netflix. What are they? College Friends or something it's called. It's a sitcom or whatever. I don't know. I got into that today. So I'll probably watch that and fix all my bubbles. Now, if you are, this fabric mesh is, like I said, is great coverage. If you do find that you can see through your deco mesh, you may want to double your, like I said before, double your, the amount of petals, not the amount, double your mesh per petal, but you wouldn't have to double probably every petal. So if you doubled every other petal, it will probably give you the coverage like this. Now this is really good coverage. I'm loving this fabric mesh, but if you have deco mesh, it'll do the same thing. You'll just have to play around with it to see the coverage. That's the only advice I can give you, because without actually looking at, you know, what it's, if it's good quality or not, I can't really help you. You'll have to do it yourself. Sorry. I get those questions all the time. Okay, so this I cut 10 by 10, I believe. Yep, green leaves, 10 by 10. It's just green deco mesh. And I'm going to put the fold, or the curl, going down towards the board. Before we were using, so you can make the same, look at the same bubble with deco mesh. It's kind of see-through, but once you start folding them all in together, you should have the, it'll all bunch and you'll have the coverage. So for the leaf, all I do is turn it into a diamond shape and scrunch up with my Peter pointers and my thumb from corner to corner, and I flip it up. Make sure they're pretty much the same length. And get my clothespin, put that to the side. I'm going to do a few of these. So I'm just scrunching from corner to corner, and these are going to be our outside leaves. I don't know if I'm going to do green all the way around. I might just do 2 up top and 2 diagonal at the bottom. So I'll just put 4 green leaves on. You can put as many as you want going around. It's totally up to you. Our regulars must be bored stiff.
No, we're having a good time there. Answering questions.
Are they? Well, we're usually having our silly antics while we're doing this. We're kind of serious.
They said they miss me.
Do they miss you? Oh, everybody missed Dave. I told him he had to behave through these. Okay, we're going to take our ginormous flower. I'm only using 4 green ones. So this is the top. And we're going to use, so this is the top. So I might put 2 here and 2 here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going in with this into this hole here. I call this a shared hole. Okay. I'm going to take my green. I'm going to take 2 pieces. And I'm going to try and do this upside down so you guys can see the back, how I'm doing it. And then I'll flip it over and do it the other way. And you can see both angles. So I've kind of just put the 2 pieces into each other. So there's one, there's the other, and I'm really messing these up, but because I'm trying to do this upside down. And I'm going to put these I'm going to slide these. There we go. My hands are getting tired. Now you can pop the zip tie into the hole here if you want. These ones I haven't popped in the hole because I leave them out just so, because if you're going to add green leaves or whatever, you'd have to move the head out of the hole. So I just kind of leave them at the side now, but you can move them in if you want. Flip that over and let's see how if it looks pretty. Ready? Oh, everybody, oh. Stuck. The deco mesh and the fabric mesh like to fight with each other here. Okay, these leaves are, those two are pretty jacked up. Much easier if I'm not doing it upside down. Okay, so I'm going to go directly diagonal and put 2 green leaves over here. This time I'm not going to do them upside down. So you're going to take your zip tie and put it in the hole. And if you put it down on your table, you kind of make the zip tie into an L shape. It's a little bit easier. Take your 2 green leaves, put them on top of each other or in each other like this. So it looks like there's 4 petals. And then just, you're going to put this curved part onto the frame there, and then zip tie it up. Flip it over. Much easier doing it that way. I was trying to show you both angles or both ways. Much better. I gotta fix this one. This one's kind of driving me nuts here. So all our videos do stay on the Facebook. I am going to be editing these ones so I can put them onto YouTube. But you can always watch the replay. So if you're behind or you're not sure what you're doing, watch the replay because you can stop, you can rewind. You know, and you can go at your own pace. I know yesterday, like when I was doing the rows, there was a whole bunch of people doing the rows with me, so I couldn't go too fast, but I couldn't go too slow, so I was just trying to go just right, and some people fell behind, which is okay, because, you know, I'd rather you do it so you're not all flustered and everything, and then you can just rewind and go at your own pace, and then you're not overthinking it and stuff like that. Okay, we are done. Let me move all this garbage because I'm going to get my wreath hanger thing so I can hang this up. And you guys can see how adorable it is. And of course I'll fix my bubbles before I take my picture. And I always take my picture on the door in the morning because I get that morning sun. Natural light is perfect.
You attach beads.
Huh?
You attach beads.
Oh, you can put whatever you want on this when it's done. Oh, cute. Oh, I have some butterflies downstairs too. So what I'm going to do when I go to sit down and I'm watching my show, I'm going to go around and make sure that these bubbles are open and they're in the dimple of each next door neighbor. Okay. Babe, you brought my thing. Okay. Oh, how's that going to work? Okay, it will. Okay, I'm going to hang it on my... Can you see it?
No. No, the top of it's going to be down.
Right here?
So you got to bring it down. Push it down a bit more.
I can't. There's a chain.
Okay, that should be good then.
All right.
Let me see when it comes up.
Yeah, we got a delay, so what if I put it on the table? Will you be able to see it
Yeah,
better?
hit the lamp. No, probably not. Well, I can move the camera up a bit.
Here. There we go. You guys, I'll take a picture. You'll be able to see it way better on my door tomorrow. But that's the zinnia.
It actually looked better on the couch.
It looked better on the couch. It's pretty big, guys. But it's going to look adorable on our door. So we used 40 pieces of 9 by 10. We used 4 pieces for the yellow right on the board, 10 by 10. And then I just used 4 green pieces for just to give it a little bit of leaf. You can do it all the way around if you want. I kind of like just the little 2. You can add some attachments to it. You can put some bees, or yesterday on my rose I put a dragonfly. So yeah, so this is fabric mesh. And I got my fabric mesh at Trendy Tree. And they have all really, really cool colors. So I think I'm done. And I hope you guys enjoyed this and you learned a little bit. And, oh, pinched my fingers. And tomorrow we are doing the daisy, right? Daisy Gerbera. Yes. All right. Okay, is there any questions? Let me see. Oh, Brenda did hers in orange. Very nice. Hi, Mom. Isn't that cute? I just love this. Like, can you imagine this little girl's door, bedroom door for this? Like, look how pretty. Or a whole bunch of these on a wall in the little girl's room and make up like an actual garden on the wall. Kind of like I did on my pool wall. So you can do all different color flowers. Like, that would be really fantastic. So, okay, guys. Yes, you can use regular deco mesh, Evelyn. I did show at the beginning some regular deco mesh and stuff. So you might want to watch the replay. The leaves were 10 by 10. The green leaves. Oh, you guys are all so very welcome. I would love if you guys could share the video. That's pretty much all I ask. Just if you guys share. And you can get your boards at uniqueinthecreek.com. You can get your boards really fast at amazon.com. And you can get your boards and all your mesh at Trendy Tree. Trendy Tree has a big shipment coming in. It does say sold out right now, but their shipment is on the way. So they will have their boards within the next couple days. So if you want to order your mesh, I would hold off and order your mesh and your boards all at once. That way you're only paying 1 shipping. Perfect, huh? Okay, guys. Any other questions? Message us. Tomorrow we have a really, really busy day. So I'm going to be in and out, off and on the computer. So Tanya will be answering questions. And anything that she can't answer, she dumps into the lore to do file. And I'll get to it. Okay, guys? But, yeah, never hesitate to ask. Even if it takes a day or 2, we will get to you. And hopefully with the right answer.
Jan, yes, you double up if it's thin.
Yeah, if it's thin, definitely double up, Jan. You'll find, you know, when you're starting, if you can really see the board, restart and double up the mesh. Yeah, so fabric mesh, love it. Okay. Yes, the petals for the daisy, I am doing 9 by 10. I pretty much do all of it 9 by 10 because there is 40 holes on our board. And when I cut them 9 by 10, if it's a true 10 yards, you get 40 pieces. So we got to save. I hate opening a new roll. Okay, guys. Yes, the supplies are under the events. If you go into the events, go to the daisy. So it's Wednesday night. Go to the daisy. Click on the daisy. And in the description is the supplies that you are going to need. Okay? Okay, guys. Thanks for joining me. And love you all. Take care. See you tomorrow. Bye.